Hey guys, if we haven't met before, my name is Savannah and I really like yapping about Jesus. Today I wanted to talk about living a life that's pleasing to God and doing things for His glory. One of the passages that I want to read is in 1 Corinthians chapter 10, and I'm starting in verse 23. All things are lawful, but not all things are helpful. All things are lawful, but not all things build up. Let no one seek his own good, but the good of his neighbor. Eat whatever is sold in the meat market without raising any question on the ground of conscience. For the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. If one of the unbelievers invites you to dinner and you are disposed to go, eat whatever is set before you without raising any question on the ground of conscience. But if someone says to you, "This has been offered in sacrifice," then do not eat it, for the sake of the one who informed you and for the sake of conscience. I do not mean your conscience, but his. For why should my liberty be determined by someone else's conscience? If I partake with thankfulness, why am I denounced because of that for which I give thanks? So whether you eat or drink, or whatever you do all to the glory of God. Give no offense to the Jews or the Greeks or to the church of God, just as I try to please everyone in everything I do, not seeking my own advantage, but that of many, that they may be saved. Be imitators of me, as I am of Christ. This world is full of many wonderful, good things, but sometimes those good things do distract us from God. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference. No matter what you do in this world, whatever you're doing, do it exceptionally as if you are doing it for God. Because even though you might not be doing something specifically for the church, or you might not be doing something specifically for God here in front of you, you can devote your work, you can devote whatever is placed in front of you to the goodness of God and to glorifying God and to bringing His people closer to Him. No matter what you were put on this world to do, no matter what kind of job you do or what kind of hobbies you have, what kind of community you're in, no matter whatever you have been called to do, whatever you yourself are in right now, there's a way to turn your perspective of doing it for yourself or just doing it begrudgingly to switching your attitude into that of worship. And that's something that God really taught me a lot about. I had this period of time where whenever I was home, I would just zone out. It'd be I would be so drained from the whole day. I just couldn't do anything. And it was when I was at work, I still had that same kind of mentality of oh my gosh, I'm so tired, But thanks be to God, the Lord delivered me from that. And what used to feel like just mundane or loneliness or just, it felt like my life was empty even though I knew God. It was He switched my perspective into realizing that anything can be worship if you kind of change your mindset and you allow God to change your heart. I think that is what is being talked about in this passage, and doing everything for the glory of God, doing everything for the benefit of the church. Because even though it might be a job that you absolutely dread going to, the Lord has put you there for a reason, whether it's to bring someone else closer to God or to teach you something or to help you rely on Him more. Whatever it may be, you can turn that feeling of emptiness and that feeling of, I want to be anywhere but here. You can turn that into having a heart of thankfulness. I know that some work environments can definitely be toxic and some work environments can definitely be not great. I've definitely had my fair share of that. But still, despite whatever may be going on in your life, the Lord has placed you there for a reason. It might feel like torture going there day in and day out. It's God has you there right now, and you might as well try to make the most of it. If it's awful and it just makes you feel terrible, hopefully you have a way out. Hopefully you get out of there eventually, very soon. But while you're there, you can turn that into an attitude of worship. If you feel beaten down, lean on God and get that strength from Him. You never know who's observing you. And it might not even be an active observation. You never know who's watching your actions. You never know who all is going to be affected by how you hold yourself or what you choose to do or how you choose to do something. Even your hobbies, even your passions, even hanging out with your friends or going to the grocery store, you are always a representative of Christ, and you are always a representative of somebody that is living a life that's supposed to imitate that of Christ. And for that, it's no matter what we're doing, even if it's just waking up in the morning and thanking God for another day, or doing the dishes, or checking the mail, waving to your neighbor, anything can be turned into worship, and it can turn into something that is driven by this heart of gratitude and this heart of thankfulness and appreciation for the one that we serve. Even these little videos that I make, sometimes I feel like nobody's listening to this. And even if one person hears it and one person gets to think about God a little bit more in this moment, and praise be to God. Do everything, including me just yapping on this channel. Do everything for the glory of God. No matter what, his name is going to be proclaimed. So why not? You never know who's listening. You never know who's watching. You never know who's looking up to you. Like, it could be somebody that you might not even think of. Maybe that coworker that you've never spoken to, or maybe that neighbor that always sees you joyfully coming home from church, or that random cashier that you see when you go to the grocery store every week. People are observing other people, and you might as well be putting on a heart that is softened to Christ in everything that you do, even if it is mundane, even if you do feel lonely or you feel angry, bitter, whatever it is. We can live having a spirit of gratitude and having a spirit of thankfulness and appreciation for all that God has given us, even though sometimes it might not seem like we have enough or we have what we want, or it might feel like we're just hitting closed door after closed door and we're just completely lost. We can change our attitude into that is worthy of him, and he is worthy of our praise. In 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 24, it says, "Let no one seek his own good, but the good of his neighbor." God will allow you to prosper if you follow him and you devote everything that you do to him. But that's not the whole point. That shouldn't be our driving force. Our driving force should be living a life that does glorify him and pointing other people to him and doing things for the benefit of other people and for the benefit of furthering the kingdom. We should be doing things that do build up our neighbors and do make them feel loved, make them feel happy, make them feel appreciated, make them feel seen, things like that. It's not all about us. And having that Christ-filled community that you do choose to lean on, all of them having that mentality of like, do everything for your neighbor, love your neighbor, before yourself. And it's like, you will get poured into. Other people will be looking out for you and doing things for you just as you are doing things for them. You're just pouring into each other's cups, and getting filled by that and getting filled by God in the midst of all of it. Sometimes when we get into something that is from God, then our heart starts to change, and it starts to be, instead of coming at it from this sense of, God, I'm giving you all the glory in everything that I do. Sometimes it turns into, okay, but I'm good at this. Like, things are happening. Like, I'm good at this. And then your heart is changed into like, okay, I'm getting satisfaction from this. Instead of, okay, regardless of my performance, I'm doing this for you, God. And that's, I think, another thing that is being spoken about in this passage, where it's like, do everything for the glory of God. Everything for the glory of God. Not for the glory of yourself. You don't need the glory. God needs the glory. Most often, he gets the glory from our humility. He works through everything and he'll get the glory no matter what, but he most gets that glory from our moments of humility and from living a life that is humble and living a life that is a reflection of Christ. And Christ did live a humble life. He didn't boast, and he had that heart that was solely for God and as a result for other people. So why is it so hard for us to do it? Why is it so easy for us to fall into this trap of doing everything for our own benefit?